Hi, I'm Mack, and I'm on a mission to see the hurting get healed and the healed go out and heal others, in order for all of us to experience the true love and light we desire. This podcast is me sharing my journey with you, so you don't feel alone in your journey. Welcome to the Golden Rule Revolution. Hello, brothers and sisters, and welcome to another episode of the Golden Rule Revolution. I am Mack. Thank you for joining me. It's been a while. I've moved, lots of changes, and I'm really excited to be back. I have a lot to share, a lot of really cool podcasts coming up, and I just want, wherever you are around the planet, I just want you to know that the game of fear is almost over. The board has been set, and those who chose love and trust and hope and sovereignty and goodness won. And now, as the game ends and the players who have played that game to win the fear-based game will lose, those who chose love and felt like we were slaves in the game of fear are going to inherit a new game based in love. And those who chose fear in the game of fear will have to learn to choose love in the game of love. But we will be significant leaders, rulers, the Bible says in Revelation 1:6 that Jesus made us kings and priests unto God his Father, meaning we will be co-reigning. And I want each and every one of you to know that you're doing a great job and keep going. In this time and season of all that is and all that's getting stirred up and all the craziness and chaos and fear and confusion, all these things that are just low vibrational energies, breathe them out, release them all, and receive love. Receive love, dear brothers and sisters. Receive the love of God. So interesting. When I post about God on Instagram, my content is very low engagement. The YouTube channel is pretty much shadow banned to almost non-existent. The podcast still has an audience growing. And why I share this is it doesn't matter how much the system of fear tries to suppress the message of love. When you and I wake up to our sovereign power, our belovedness in the infinite one creator's love for all that is, we instantly rise out of that low vibrational state and step into the fullness of who we have always been since the beginning of time. The system of fear says that we are slaves, but in love, we are kings. And that does not mean gender. So my dear sisters, you have the authorship of a king. Even though I know the modern vernacular is king and queen for gendership, the king is the highest authority figure on the board of chess. And that is not a gender. That is a position of authority. And so all of us get to step into that. So I want to start this podcast with that. I also want to say that Jamie Vezina, who I had on the podcast, is sponsoring some podcasts coming now, this one and a few more. So really excited to have a really great sponsor of the podcast. So I want to read this. She runs Sound Soul Studio, and it's an online yoga and wellness studio where music meets the mat to align your mind, body, and soul with the power of movement. The goal of Sound Soul Studio is to offer fun and engaging classes that fit into the nooks, crannies, and budgets of our lives. Yoga and fusion classes utilize dynamic movement to build strength and flexibility. Dynamic movement is at the core of everything that she does at Sound Soul Studio. Jamie's yoga classes are a great fit for beginners and experienced yogis alike. Their classes feature creative movement set to music for a unique experience compared to your traditional classes. Need a moment to unwind? Sit down and relax with one of the quick meditations to find balance throughout the day. Take time for yourself and start your free 7-day trial. And just for $9 per month when your trial ends, and then just $9 a month when your trial ends, use code GOLDEN, that's GOLDEN, for 30% off your first month head to soundsoulstudio.com and subscribe today. So that's soundsoulstudio.com. Please check her out. She's such a blessing. She was my last interview that I had in Seattle, Washington, and honored to have her as a sponsor of the show. So thank you, dear Jamie, and everyone. Please go check out soundsoulstudio.com. I'll put those notes in the show notes as well. So today, what I want to talk about is the board game that we have been in for so long. And if you take a pause right now and you look at everything that's around you, if you took specific details of the people in your life, the job that you have, the title you have, the people you work with, the cars you drive, the money at the gas pump, like every specific featured detail in your hyper awareness of the life that you're living right now, and you look at it all, I want you then to detach from it all and see it as a board game. See it as the game of life. See it as the game Candyland. I play Candyland with my kids a lot. It's a fun game. See it as a game of Candyland. The purpose, see, when we all start out the game of life, we're all the same stature, different colors, but the same stature size in the game. So no player is greater than another player. What then exemplifies stature in the game is how far one gets in the game. So we think, oh, this person's further ahead, they're doing better. But in reality, every player is equal. So with all the features and details and people and emails and data and messages and posts and social media and virtual reality and all the things that can add to the game, the purest mission of the game, the purest purpose of the game is to go from the beginning and go to the end and finish the game. He who finishes the game wins, or he or she. They who finish the game wins. So how do we finish the game? As I said at the beginning of this podcast, the game is coming to an end. How do you finish strong? The Bible talks about Jesus saying, "Well done, my good and faithful servant, for thou may enterest into thy rest." I was just talking to a client and friend in a coaching call. I said, think of the Candyland when all the colors go into the castle, same castle, all the colors go into it. Well, what do you think happens in the castle? Everyone, they rest. It's the same character that started the game, but in the end, in the purpose of the player reaching that place of accomplishing, winning the game, there is rest. There is receiving. There is nothing to prove any longer. There is no one to validate ourselves, for we ourselves did the work and we ourselves are worthy of receiving all the good, all the beauty, all the abundance, everything that is within the castle or within the covering or the end result, where the King of Kings resides, where the Most High resides. Now, here is how we finish well and finish strong. For the receiving that we get in the castle does not change the stature or worthiness of the player. For the player, when we start the game, when we all start the game, are the same player that ends the game. So the rewards in the castle, that's only based in time, but time doesn't exist in God. Time is a created linear process that in the matrix we use to calibrate left to right or right to left or space and distance. But everything is immediate. Everything is in the now moment. So when you receive in the castle, because you did a good job and you finished strong and you did not bow to fear and you did not cave in and you did not listen to the false narrative of the greater good is to submit your own sovereignty. No, you did not allow that deceptive narrative to assuage your passage to the castle. The person you are in the castle receiving all those gifts is the same person you are that starts the game. See, we don't change. We remember who we are. That's why in the new game of love that is coming, the Bible calls it the millennial reign of Christ, the age of Mashiach in Judaism, the age of Aquarius in New Age, astrological terms, we are entering. See, Pisces, which we've just left, is the fish. And that's why all the Catholic bishops and a lot of other religious sects wear these pointed fish-mouthed hats. And think of the energy of that, the high energy and low energy, the high energy and low energy. And I was talking to Aaron Scotty, who I've had on the podcast and I do the Awakened Soul with. We're talking about living in the mountain region. He lives in LA. I just left Seattle and the mountains are there. And there's so much just energy. It's so high and low, high and low. And then coming to Texas and it's flat and it's just like grounded peace and systems, weather systems just move through at an incredible rate. And you just, well, we are entering the age of Aquarius. What is Aquarius? It's water. What does water do? It goes to the least resistance. High pressure goes to low pressure. It moves and covers and blesses everything. So when we enter this new game in water, in covering, in love, coming up, those of us who have finished well in the castle, receiving all the good, will then know in the new game of love what the ultimate purpose of this entire game of fear was about. And I want you to hear this. This is so important. We have all just gone through this game of fear. It's about to wrap up. But we have gone through this game of fear for all of humanity to awaken to what love truly is. That's why the Bible says God is not mocked. For whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. If you sow compromise, you reap a compromised soul. If you sow fear, you reap fear. And if you sow confusion, you reap confusion. But if you sow love, if you sow trust, if you sow sovereignty, you reap sovereignty, trust, and love. So we've gone through this game of fear, and those who have finished well will be the leaders of the new earth in this age of Aquarius. But why have we gone through this? It's because those of us who have finished well will not say, I told you so, will not say, look at me and emulate me. In no way will we do that. That is ego, and that is of the fear-based 3D world. But those who finish well, learning and receiving the infinite love of God, will in the new game, as stewards of the new earth, serve those who did live in fear, will enter in and have to learn love, have to learn trust, will have to learn the knowledge of God. We won't say, I told you so, but instead have the same sentiment of Jesus on the cross saying, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. Now, Father, let us teach them. Let us grow together. Let us worship together. Let us love together. And the ego of the 3D, the ego and the anger and the fear and the confusion and the compliance and the compromising and the lies and the propaganda and the war machines and the political machines and the religious machines and the pharma machines and all that machinery, which was non-organic, not created by the creator, will be dissolved. And what will be left is the tenderness of our flesh, the tenderness of our vulnerable hearts, the tenderness of our opening souls, the tenderness of the humble mind, the tenderness. So leaders in the new earth cannot be harsh, cannot be right per se, cannot be arrogant, but must be pure, loving beings to sit with, to spend time with, to share with those who will be waking up to it. What I'm sharing right now is so important. If you are about to finish the game, and the game, you're not being finished. You're not coming to an end. The game is coming to an end, okay? And it feels like it's dark. Crypto's tanking, the economy's tanking. It's going to look like it's dark. You get to release it all. Just release it all. And come back into yourself. Come back into center. Stop looking without. And it's time to go back within. And the purest form of going back within is to drop the armor that braces from the outside world hitting you. Drop it, soften your jaw, and receive. Just receive, just start receiving. What are you receiving? You're receiving the love of God. You're receiving the Most High. You're receiving love and light. You're receiving peace, peace that passes all your understanding. Where does this peace come from? This peace comes from within, trusting and releasing and receiving. As we finish the game, we who finish the game well are just beginning. Because what we are entering, what we're stepping into, all the gifts and dreams and visions that you have had since you were a child, all the yearning for more, knowing there was something more, knowing there was something greater, knowing that this cannot be it. All that will be fulfilled because you will see with your very own eyes everything that was wrong be righted. Everything that was down that should have been up become right side up. Everything will be in alignment as we move forward. When? I hear the question. I hear the ego question. When? When it is time. And that's all we need to know. When it is time. And when is that time? As I spoke about receiving the rewards of the castle when you start the game, it's always now. You always get to receive that now. But it takes work, it takes remembering, it takes patience, it takes a separation and a detachment for what this world validates you in the data sets, how much money you make, what cars you drive, what house you live in, blah, 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 blah. Those are not true values. Because remember, I said when you start that game, before you even begin the game, you're the same stature, you're the fullness of you as you are when you finish the game. The only difference between when you start and finish is the receiving all the rewards that are waiting for you, which are available now. So this is the message that I wanted to get in today, bless you with today. And the political game is a game. The religious game is a game. The media game is a game. The medical game is a game. It's all a game. And we've all chosen where we wanted to play. And now, my brother and sister, my friends, light workers, light beings from all around the world, now is the time to receive all the good, all the beauty, all that is radiant in the highest vibration for you right now. Thank you for listening. Thank you for joining me on this podcast. I got many more coming, and it's nice to be back with you. I love you all. Blessings. I am Lucas Mack. This is the Golden Rule Revolution, and I'll talk to you on the next episode. Thank you, brothers and sisters, for listening. For support in your journey, go to my website, lucasmack.com.